Hello, boys and girls. It is drawing time again. We are going to do another directed draw. Now, last time I said we were going to be doing a chicken today, so that is exactly what we will be doing. Now, in class, if you have been in my class, we have drawn a chicken numerous times, and because of that, I think we're going to do a different kind of chicken. We're going to do one that's not just standing there or sitting there. This one's going to be running. So we're going to introduce some aspects of motion into our drawing. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a little trickier, but you know what? I think you can do it. All right. Well, first we're going to figure out where the head is. I think for this drawing, I'm going to have the head over here, and it's going to be looking this way. It's going to be running this way, so it's going to be looking this way. Now remember, when it comes to the chicken, a lot of the other animals would draw ovals for the head, but it's not quite like that. Uh-oh. Is this not going to work? That's unfortunate. I'm curious if I can do it with this side. Okay. So when it comes to the chicken, it has a little bit of a longer neck. And they're going to go like this to show feathers. Because often, at least when you're drawing like cartoon chickens, the feathers of the head are different from the feathers of the rest of the body. Just to remind us that this is a head, though. It's a little triangle beak. And the eye is a circle. Let's put a dot in the middle. Doesn't it look silly? And this is called, I believe, the comb, which is like the red skin part that's on top of their head. All right. Now the body is kind of a oval shape. Have you noticed that a lot of these animals have oval shapes for the bodies? I have. Although this is going to be a little bit different actually. Because now at this part, I'm thinking one leg will be here and the other leg is going to be over here. Now even though their legs are scaly at their feet, higher up it's still feathers. It's going to look a little funny until we've finished. And that's often something that will happen in drawing. If you look at it when it's not done yet, you're going to say, "What? That looks very silly." But all of a sudden, you do enough of it and it starts to make sense. So this is one leg and this is in the front, and this is the other leg, and because it's in the back, we've been doing a lot of that. We've been drawing the legs that are in the back. I think you've gotten very good at it. All right. So let's do the legs. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to give it stick legs. It's important for this one that this leg is pointing this way and that this leg is pointed this way. Doesn't it make it look like it's running instead of standing still? I think it does. Okay, so remember that the wings are up here. So this is how I like to do the wings. First, I like to draw where I know it's attached to the body. And then I start making the shapes. So it goes out and then in, out and then in, out and then in, out and then in, and then we connect it. And then we're going to do the wing behind. But you know what? You're only going to see a little bit of it. I think that's enough. Now, right now, you might be looking at this and saying, "Oh my goodness, There's a big line there. Why did you do that? Well, if you're doing this with an eraser, you can always erase this part. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to color this in. That way you won't be able to see it. We'll do the same with the one in the back. It's a little messy, but I think it looks nice. And don't forget the tail. It's very similar to how we did the wings. It goes out, and then it goes in, and it goes out, and then it goes in, and goes out, goes in, out, and in, out, and in. And I think it would look nice if these were the same color as the wings. I'm going to color this in too. I think that looks pretty funny. Now, one thing that you can do to make it look like your chicken is extra feathery is you can put, it looks like U's almost. If you go like that, and some are bigger and some are smaller, but they're all facing the same direction, this kind of makes it look like it has feathers. Speaking of feathers, did you know that chickens lose their feathers all the time? I think it would be really funny if there were feathers floating behind this chicken as it ran away. So I'm going to draw a feather over here. So it's kind of like an oval, except one end ends in a point instead of being smooth all the way around. And then at the very end, you add one of those. This is called the quill. That's the part that's attached to the chicken's body. I want to put a couple others that are floating in the air. Wow, that's looking really good. You know what else we can do? We can add some footprints. Now, usually you won't see your footprints when you're walking around, but if you're walking around in the dirt or in the mud, it's easier to see your footprints. So let's try that. Now remember, these would be chicken footprints. This is how you do footprints. They wouldn't be right next to each other because that would mean they're standing like this. It's running, so one's going to be forward and the other's going to be back. Kind of looks like a Y, doesn't it? I think this is pretty fun. Let's see what we did today. I think that looks very nice. Tomorrow, let's do a horse tomorrow. And then after that, I think we might be ready to move away from farm animals. See you then.